The presenter. How do you want me to send them to you?
I'll make you presenter and upload it. I'll give you the presenter role, and you can actually change the slides yourself.
Sure.
Basically, on the main info, you should be able to upload a file. On the cell icon, there's a share.
Okay, let me just go to the live place. Where to take this live from?
Is that?
Okay. Could you please tell me again where should I find the link to upload the slide?
On meeting info.
Meeting information.
Do you see three? You can go on the top of the screen. There's share.
File,
and you can upload the PowerPoint. It should stay there, so then we can just basically just when it's time.
File. Okay. Download. So for some reason, I can't find the PPT file.
Okay, no problem. I think we can ask.
Well, the problem is that if I look file to share, the PPT files are not in the list, even if they are in the folder.
I see. Okay, but I think we can also share your screen directly, so you can
sure.
open your presentation and just share the screen.
Good. Sounds better.
Okay, let's do it later. Thank you.
Okay.
So I will take back the presenter role now.
Okay.
So should be back on the. And yeah, everybody, here's Tommaso speaking from European Schoolnet. Well, anyone? We have some issues because some of you don't have joined the audio of the call, so of course they cannot hear anything. So we are trying to contact them directly one by one to make them press the right button and get into the call. But thanks for being so much tonight. And yeah, just minutes more to start the presentations and the winner. Here's Tommaso speaking from European Schoolnet. Still few of you haven't connected to the audio, but I think we will start for now. And my colleague here with me will try to get in touch with them to make sure they connect to the audio as well. In any case, we are going to record the webinar as well, so we'll make it available to all of you later on. So if you missed anything, you can get back to that. So anyway, very happy to see you quite a few here this evening. I'm here in Brussels with my colleague Nair and Tomislava, and hope will be able to join as well. And just housekeeping information. So when you are not speaking, please mute your microphone so we don't get messed up. Someone had just stolen my printer rights, but just then I got it back, so I'm ready to start. I've seen there's an end from asked to speak actually, so I don't know if you have anything to say or if that was just by mistake. In case if you have, you can also write on the chat so that we get take stock of that and we can answer you by voice or by chat. There's also Alessandro Bogliolo, who works for the University of Urbino. He's a real computer science expert, and it happens to be this year also the coordinator of the CodeWeek, so he will give us quite some insight into this great initiative. Started and get with this. The teacher of today's webinar is CodeWeek Teacher Toolkit and CodeWeek4all challenge. So Europe CodeWeek 2015 calls for and teachers, and we will hear from Alessandro why it's so important for teachers to get engaged in this campaign. We will see the importance of teaching and learning how to code very quickly, just to take stock of what you expressed during this learning event, so the initial part of this learning event on the training. Also present you very briefly what the European Coding Initiative is, that you may have with the name of Unity's Code. We show you how the CodeWeek Teacher Toolkit works and how it can be useful for you. I'm going to go more in details on the Europe CodeWeek 2015, so to see what are the main features of this edition, and to go details on the Coding for All challenge. So some just took the presentation role, and I'm not sure why this happened, but I have to take back then to keep printing my slides. And again, just let's go more in detail then on with the topics on the agenda. Nobody wants to a topic why teaching and learning how to code is important. We would share probably this nice picture which gives you a very nice overview on what of benefits can to you and to your classroom the fact of teaching or learning how to code. But this time we want to say it with your words, so with what you came with during the first learning block of this e-twinning learning event. And this is how they look like. So this is a tagline which is created with your answers, and I think this is incredibly interesting because it gives us a real teacher perspective on the topic, and I think really very this Okay, so something is happening here with we're trying to sharing her screen, but now we see the slide. Okay, going back to the slides, I think it's very nice to see here a very specific approach to coding. And according to your replies, coding is important to you because it helps you to teach in an innovative way, in a different way, collateral way, and it helps your students to learn more and to learn different skills and to be creative and to solve problems. Of course, very relevant for us. It's also highlighted that it's important for the job, it's important for their life, it's important for their participation in a digital society. It's very, very relevant for their day-to-day life. I would like also to go more in details on some of the replies that we got from you on how and why it's important teaching and coding for you. And here are just a few quotes selected from your answers, and it's very to see that for you as well as for us, code is a communication tool which is important for the future. It is key to success to succeed in today's society. It's organizing the educational process, which is a very interesting reply as well, and it's relevant for the jobs that require programming skills, which are more and more and often requested. Then it's interesting to see that you resonate with our thought. We should all become creators of technology rather than just consumers. And it's nice to see that for coding improves creativity and also communicative and analytical competencies. And it helps create all the educational tools you need. So again, it's very relevant for teachers and not just for learners. Another quote from Clara, who says that actually it's essential for teachers and for children, most importantly, to open boxes to look inside and see how the machines, how the computers work, how the thing actually works. That's a very nice thought. In fact, it reminds us to think back to our childhood and how many and tools we actually dismounted and destroyed to see what was inside. And this is really what coding can be for our students and for ourselves. So really a tool to understand how things work and how we can interact actively with technology. So for teachers that are interested to clean up this challenge and contribute to this really ambitious objective, Relations European Schoolnet, a European Coding Initiative, which is now also comprehensive of many resources, which all you need is code.eu, is really dedicated to students, teachers, and adults who are trying to give a first go to coding and really try out what communities this specific set of competences can open them. So I would really suggest you to keep an eye on this website so that you get more updates and more activities all around the year and not just during the Code Week. And currently, we are organizing an event here in Brussels on the 12th of October, which, by the way, you're welcome to join if you want. So just drop me an email and I can include you in the list. We have a Thumb Up campaign, as you have probably seen, that you can support. I have a series of communication channels through which we try to disseminate resources, but also news and policy actions, which aim at making computer science and coding more and more popular in the formal education sector. The teacher toolkit is really designed to help educators to get engaged in the Code Week 2015. So share this with you, and I think it might be useful, but of course we are very keen to see if you have any updates or any improvements that you would like to see on that, or if you have any feedback. And I'll just briefly present this to you so that you have a more clear idea of what is this for and where to find the relevant information. So it gives you all the practical details about the code week. So it tells you when it happens, where it happens, and how as teachers can contribute to it. And the easiest thing you can do is really to organize for instance, a test, an experiment lesson with your students, even if you haven't done it before, and really try out some coding resources for them during one day. And this to try to down again the issue, the problem, and to help you solve those small issues that you may encounter as you auto-organize your event, which, by the way, should stay very open and very up to you. And then tells you what you need for a code event, but specific topic you actually have almost all, because you have the audience, you have your students, you have a place to be, which might be your school really. And what you need is really just a few more tools or resources or lesson plans to work to teach or learn to your students. And for facilitating this process, we put there some repository and places where you can find relevant resources or lesson plans, and really from a variety of creators. We want you to go necessarily to our website. We really want you to go where you think you can find the most relevant resources for you. We use some example of what you can actually do with the tools that you can find on the toolkit or online in general. And there's really a variety of great things that you can do with your students. You can start, for instance, to program simple interactive stories or game, animation using visual programming language like Scratch that most likely you know. There's also a version of Scratch which is more suitable for younger students, which is Scratch Junior. Here is how it looks like when you use it. It's basically a drag and drop interface which allows you to create really quite kind of complex games or animation. So it's really suitable for different age levels. Other type of games which are more appealing maybe to older students, and this CodeWeek4all Lab tool is really created to allow persons who don't have any background coding to create 3D interactive games, and this is it. It would look like the interface. So this is again a software that you can download for free and then use offline as well. So it's pretty relevant if you don't have a stable connection at home or at school. And this again quite a simple for beginners tool, which can get very complicated as you go on with the development of your games, as you add additional difficulties to the game, and even design websites using instructions which are step by step by some online websites, which are also totally free for users like Academy. So it's really something you are guided through step by step, which allows you really to take it also with your students, even if you don't have a specific experience yourself. And develop some application for your mobile phone or for your tablet. And this is just one of the examples, which is App Inventor, again by the MIT, which allows you to really create some simple application for your mobile device. And we still have other resources, and maybe you don't know it yet, but you definitely can teach basic concepts of computational thinking, or even quite more advanced ones, without any computer. You can use some unpacked activities, and here is one of them. So it's a ready-made starter kit. I will code it Robbie. They allow you to create a card game to teach computing to your pupils or students. So, and this is again one of those resources that is just to take up and realize with a minimum effort and minimum pianization before. And here is another kind of interesting tool, which is Sonic Pi, and which allows you to create music while coding. And also this tool has a whole set of ready-made lesson plans for teachers and pupils and students, so it allows you to take a step without having previous experience and really going through step of different difficulties and create your own then complex and professional song actually with these simple tools. And one of the many tools that we have and that we have listed in the toolkit and that you can find online and on the learning event. During the event of deep twinning, we will go more in details into those, so we will really see how this can be used in a classroom and what is the pedagogical value of some of these tools. So we definitely will guide you during the event through how to use these tools. But from this toolkit, you can already start to think about what you could do with your classroom during the Code Week. And the Code Week, again, just as a reminder, is from the 10th to 18th of October, and it's in Europe, but it can be in the other countries. And we encourage to take up this challenge and to try out with their students some of these activities. Of course, for going more in details on what the Code Week could offer you, I would read the floor to Alessandro Bogliolo, who is the co-author of the ambassadors of the Code Week, and see what he has to talk about that, and especially about this CodeWeek4all challenge, which is a new challenge specifically designed for schools. So let's see why and what teachers could do in 2015. And I have presented right, so you can share your screens with all the audience. If you have questions, please keep writing in the chat. I was seeing while I was presenting that there was something already coming up, which is very nice. After the presentation of Sandra, we will also address all those questions, and Tommaso and I are collecting all of them. So, Alex, thanks.
About Europe Code Week. We think that this is one of the most appropriate webinar in which to create the basis for a successful Code Week, because schools are really the main player of Europe Code Week and probably the most important ones to drive it to success. So can you hear me well?
Ken, we were just missing the first part because you were still muted.
Oh, sounds strange. Okay, I muted my mic, but probably I did something wrong. So sorry about that. So I was just thanking you for inviting me to this webinar. I'm very happy to have the opportunity to speak to schools and to the European Schoolnet network about the upcoming Europe Code Week. This is the countdown, as you can see, and this is the main website of Europe Code Week, the one that I'm sharing at this. And from here we can access all the sources and also the slides that I will briefly present. But before going into the details of these slides, I'd like also to thank you for what you said about the reason why teaching at school in the classroom. And I think that there are many reasons, and I want also to add some, because coding is really for all, in the sense that it is not just for programmer, and coding has to be seen as an enabler of a new way of thinking, exactly as learning to speak allows us to formulate complex thoughts in our mind. So have some coding capability, basic coding capabilities, also enables new ways of thinking, which are called computational thinking or algorithmic thinking, or the capability of formulating an algorithmic solution to a given problem, which is for sure to be considered as transversal capability, as a transversal skill that has to be a common knowledge, not just something to create new programmers, even if they are in demand. So is about creativity, about expression, about personal empowerment, about I would say that coding is also rewarding, and that's one of the reasons why it is worth teaching it in the classroom. I'd like to mention that diversity is a way to engage underrepresented groups in coding, in my opinion, is not, or at least not only, to create specific actions or specific events targeting underrepresented groups, but this way, in my opinion, is to create comprehensive and inclusive actions and events. And school is for everybody more than anything else. So school is the most inclusive environment that we can offer to our kids. So that's really why want to say if we want to target everybody, we need to focus on schools as the first and the main playground where CodeWeek has to take place. So in order to get schools engaged, so the direct involvement of European Schoolnet is a must. I'm really grateful to all of you for making this happen, because this is the most appropriate network in which to speak about this kind of opportunities and actions. So we prepared several toolkits, starting from the toolkit that the European Schoolnet prepared for you. Is that this is a very usable and immediate instrument given to teachers in order to help them organize events. And one of the key messages that we want to launch this year is that in order to organize a CodeWeek event, you do not need to be an expert, because for two reasons, I would say. First of all, because the outcome of CodeWeek is the content, is not the knowledge. The outcome of CodeWeek is awareness, is curiosity, is engagement. And in order to raise awareness, to raise curiosity, create engagement, and to engage pupils and students, teachers do not need to be expert coders or programmers. They need to be good teachers as you are. So that's what is needed. So the engagement and the motivation of teachers is the key to success of CodeWeek, not just the coding abilities of the teachers. And then is that I think that if there is something new for kids, which is something that they can learn or acquire very quickly, just because it's taken on them, it's basically made for them, because all many tools, the many instruments that Tommaso mentioned are very beginner friendly, and kids can learn how to use them just by experience and in a very, very, very short time. And they can learn how to use them much faster than us. So what we strongly suggest is for teachers to take the part of their kids, of their pupils, and learn together with them, rather than trying to acquire the technical knowledge on how to deal with the tools before presenting the tools to their pupils. So I strongly believe that pupils and teachers can directly approach these instruments together in order to learn code together. So having said that, what I mean is that we want to make creating an event as fast, as easy as possible in order to have the opportunity during Code Week to engage as many people as possible with coding. And that's the main purpose of Code Week. So let's what you can find on the website of Europe Code Week, which are on the main page several ways of being involved as an event organizer, or by joining an event, or just by spreading the word. And we have several campaigns that have been launched this year. One is the Thunderclap campaign, which is about to succeed, because if we go and follow this link, we have reached 474 subscribers, and we needed to reach 500 in order for the campaign to be launched. And launching the campaign is very, very nice, and it's a wonderful opportunity, because as you can see, this means that the same message will be launched on October the 10th at the beginning of Code Week, with such a reach which is more than 500,000 people just for one message that will be launched on Facebook, Twitter, and Tumblr. And then, there are other campaigns, the CodeWeek4all challenge, which is specifically designed for schools, and the Ode to Code video contest, which has been launched in order to stress the fact that Code and coding is also a form of expression. It's not just for programmers. So to raise awareness and attention on young people who are not directly interested in coding, we proposed a tune, a music, which is called an open source music, in the sense that it can be remixed for free in some other tunes, some other soundtracks, and can be used to make videos that can take part in a video contest that will end at the end of October. And the same contest will also be used for storytelling. So all event organizers are encouraged to tell their Code Week stories by possibly making short videos and uploading them on YouTube, and by submitting them to the video contest. Then the CodeWeek4all challenge. So let me focus on it, and I would like to present a few slides by going to the resource page, and we can find some of the links that are the same that Tommaso showed, because those are links to external tools which can be used for creating events, but there are also presentations and toolkits prepared specifically here for the players of Code Week. So there is a short presentation, which is this one that I can share. Basically says what Code Week is, and I don't want to go through it right now, because we are more or less all aware of the fact that Code Week is a coding literacy campaign launched and promoted by the European Commission, but completely led by volunteers called Code Week ambassadors. What I'd like to stress today is the role of schools, and focusing on schools, I'd like to mention the three campaigns that I just mentioned. The CodeWeek4all challenge is probably the most appropriate to discuss today. But going back to what I'm saying, which is the toolkits which are available on this resource page on the codeweek.eu website, I'd like to stress the fact that our toolkits are mainly for teachers and schools. So it demonstrates the attention that we paid this year to engage schools into Code Week, while last year we didn't do the same. So we had events which were more diverse and sparse than this year, because this year we really understood that we need to leverage the potential of schools to reach everybody, to reach every kid. So in this way, we created a toolkit for teachers, which is this one. It tries to explain how simple it could be for a teacher to organize an event. This guide, which starts by inviting us to take the initiative of organizing an event, and then choose a place which could probably be the classroom in order to make it as easy as possible, set up a date, and this is very important because without a date we don't have an event. So it is better to set up a wrong date and then possibly change it rather than delaying the time at which we set up a date. Then the theme and also the activity to be done, and there are many possible activities as has been mentioned before, and then add the event to the map of your CodeWeek. This is a fundamental step. So adding the event to the map of CodeWeek means following this link here, which takes you to the event site of CodeWeek.eu. All the events that have been added so far, and at the moment there are about 1,500 events scheduled for next week, and you can zoom in and find the events closer to your place, but most important, you can add your own events. To add an event, you need to sign in with your preferred social, and then here is the form that you have to fill in order to create the event. Here identify the location, which will correspond to a pin that will be added to the map. And that's it. This is a very important step because by adding the event to the map, you really take part in CodeWeek. I think that you really could take part in CodeWeek by adding the event to the map, which can sound a little weird, in the sense that if you do something about coding, you are doing a great job independently of CodeWeek and independently of the map. Numbers matter, and CodeWeek is just a great opportunity of doing something together with thousands of other people around the world. And this will allow us to create a critical mass. And the critical mass is very important to raise awareness because critical mass can bring coding to the attention of mass media, for instance, while media usually do not speak about coding. And if we manage to involve so many people, then mass media have to speak about what we are doing, then we expand our outreach. We can involve more people than the ones that took part in our events. And that's one of the purposes of CodeWeek. And the toolkit that I wanted to show you is a toolkit which explains how to take part in the CodeWeek4all challenge. So the CodeWeek4all challenge is designed for schools, and it consists of engaging a school or challenging a school not only in organizing an event, but in trying to involve in many different events the majority of their pupils and students. And this is a real challenge because it's hard, but it's feasible and is really rewarding. So the idea is that if the school registers to the CodeWeek4all challenge, the school gets back a code, a unique code, which is just a string, that has to be added to the description of all the events organized within the school. So as if one teacher or a school director registers the school to the CodeWeek4all challenge, which is the first step, then the unique code associated with the school will be provided to the school director, and the school director can then just provide the code to all the teachers, inviting them to organize events, code events in their classrooms. And each teacher can now add an event to the map by doing the most appropriate coding experience for his or her classroom. But if the code is added to the description of the event, this will allow Europe Code Week to find out all the events that were organized within that school. And since after Code Week, all event organizers will be asked to report on the number of pupils taking part in their events, then all the participants to the events organized within the same school will be summed up, and the overall number will be compared with the number of people in the school in order to compute a participation rate. If the participation rate is more than 50%, then the school will get a certificate of excellence directly from the European Commission. All the teachers organizing events will get certificates, which are certificates of recognition from CodeWeek ambassadors. So this is something that, once again, this is the certificate of recognition that will be granted to all event organizers. Once again, we want to not only also recognize the importance of teachers at school in this challenging campaign that we are trying to launch and we are launching. So that's more or less it, in the sense that this is what we conceived here in order to get schools engaged. This is the point at which we are right now. So we have about, as I said, more than 2,500 events already in the map, and the events are sprouting on the map at an incredible rate, because there are hours of the day in which I'm getting one request per minute, which is amazing. Actually, it's also quite time-consuming for me and for all the ambassadors, but it's really amazing and rewarding how many events are sprouting. There is also another thing that I'd like to mention, the fact that, as you can see, there are also events in the US, in Africa, in Asia, and even in Australia. And this is amazing, because this means that Europe Code Week is being global, which is one of the other key novelties of this year, because we want Europe to be a leader in the of coding, not just a continent who tries to do what America is already doing. We are doing something which is the most important campaign, coding literacy campaign, that has been launched together with the Hour of Code, and we wanted to cooperate. And there we also managed to get to involve the MIT Media Lab, who are the ones who designed Scratch, in order to create a specific session in Scratch, which is scratch.edu, CodeWeek4all. And this section of Scratch is a multilingual tutorial that can be used to create very funny activities in the classroom, because it's a property of selecting backdrops from European cities and put characters on them, and make the characters dance the ode to code dance, which can be remixed. So even the music can be adapted, but the music is the one that was created in order to celebrate Europe Code Week. So this is a great contribution that MIT is providing to Europe Code Week, and this creates the basis for a thorough cooperation between the literacy campaign launched by the European Commission and the coding literacy campaign launched worldwide, starting from the US. Okay, I think that's it. So I really would like to thank you all once again for what you are doing for bringing Europe Code Week to a success this year. And please feel free to ask questions, not only right now, but even by email or by getting in touch with your local ambassador or directly with myself in order to try to solve all the doubts that could possibly prevent you from organizing events and engaging your pupils. Thank you.
Thanks, Alessandro. I think it was extremely interesting, and I think we all appreciate that this year there is a strong teachers and schools, and we all heard that it's really the way to reach out to anyone, to go school and get to all the pupils and students around Europe. And yeah, but stay here with us because we got some questions already. One which is quite simple, maybe you can answer it quickly. We have a question on the timing of the Code Week. If not organized within this week, can still be registered on it or technically speaking?
The very short answer is yes. In the sense that we would like also to make clear that any week is Code Week. On the other hand, we needed to on a period in order to create a critical mass, so to have great concentration of events in this week, which is actually a long week with 2 weekends. So it's a strange week from to the 18th of October. But we keep adding events to the map all over the year, and also in order to compute the outreach of Code Week, we will possibly include events which can start before the date at which the form will be delivered to event organizers, but can possibly end even later and could have started before Code Week. So free to map events regardless of the dates.
And I think indeed it's a good idea to create a strong critics around the Master Code Week. So let's do that. But after life continues, so of course yes. we should keep up the effort. and also, there's also some comments I would like to say. So there was a lot of interest for some of the tools that we've shown tonight very briefly, like other tools that might be used for teaching foreign languages and so on. We really advise you to go on the specific guided toolkits to get a clear of what these tools are about. But you're also part of the e-learning event. These tools will be described more details into the next talk. So we're gonna get more information on that. The interesting question was to make an example of an event that a teacher can organize. And I'd like to start from the very basic and more obvious type of event that can be organized by an educator. And I would like also to Alessandro to just give his own view on what kind of events could be organized. But I would like to state again that feature in the Code Week, the basic and obvious but really very important event can be organized is actually an experiment lesson. So just an activity with your students, trying out something you have never done before. So trying with them to use these coding tools and really get them to create something with technology. It's pretty easy. It seems pretty direct and maybe too straightforward, but it's a great empowering experience for pupils to really be able to create for their first time some technology they always use just as a consumer good. But your take on that, Alessandro? Do you have ideas on that?
Yeah. So I'd like to start from one of the simplest activity that jumps to my mind. So assume that you have at least a computer or an interactive Blackboard or something like that that you can use to show and to watch a video. So there is a very short video that I made fourth edition of CodeWeek, which is called The Language of Things. It's a short video which basically says, well, I can show it to you. This video was called The Language of Things. Should be this. Okay, so this is very short. It is 6 minutes. Okay. If you start by watching a video like this, then you can engage your pupils in figuring out how many objects around us contain microprocessor, which means are ready to be programmed. And just make a list of objects like a smartphone, a television set, or a car, or a dishwasher, and so on. And they could make a list of objects that are not ready to be programmed, but that you would like to be able to code. And then you can make another list of things that you would like these objects to do for you if you were able to code. And this is a coding event to me. So this is something that raises awareness, raises curiosity, and if you're not teaching how to code. But then for the school year to teach how to code, or to learn how to code together with your pupils. So it's just an example of how easily you can create your own event, even without using my video, of course, but just by thinking of the most appropriate way to raise the curiosity and awareness of your pupils, being aware that this is not something that has to finish. It's just the beginning of something.
Great beginning, and it helped us a lot on as an inspiration start for the learning event as well, and for the your initiative. Well, we have questions, so we'll answer to a few more. And one was what's CodeWeek4all? So CodeWeek4all is a network of volunteers, basically all around the world, that are devoted to teach coding to anyone, so to adults, kids, young people. So what you can do is to go on their website, which is codedojo.org, and try to find if there is a store close to you, which is basically a volunteer hub where you might attend some free lessons on how to do specific coding languages, or to try out coding for the first time with very basic, very user-friendly tools and materials. So that's something you can definitely have a look at. And then we organize an event even if we don't know directly how to code. And the answer again is yes, of course, because there's many tools out there and many tutorials that you can follow step by step. So you can use some of those tools to organize your lessons and to share those elements with your students and pupils. And again, echoing something very important that Alessandro said, you should out to make something with your students even from scratches, so without any basis, and try this to revert the learning process and learn together with your students, because they're very quick to things, they're very quick and logical in their approach also quite often. And that's just to share an experience I got, even if I'm not currently a teacher, trying some big activities with Scratch and with other tools, with some from eTwinning School, actually here in Brussels. It took me to understand exactly how the tool worked and how the lessons should have been done. And it took really half an hour. So it's really something that they can contribute you understand and master during the lesson or during the code weekend. We include in the next learning activity block scratch.mit.eu/CodeWeek2. So that's for you to know the tool that Alessandro showed us this evening. We'll include it in the activities because we think it's really relevant and it's really useful also for teachers to take up. On top of this, there will be also other activities and other materials. The questions on using code and learning coding the context of a foreign language class, and that's also something that is definitely possible. For instance, an application which is called Pocket Code, which has been used, for instance, to teach Spanish as a foreign language. We'll share this with you also next activity block, and I'm sure there are many other applications that can serve that kind of purpose. So basically, with this and other tools, you can ask your students, for instance, to create an application which gives you specific words or some specific structures of a foreign language. So that's a quick answer to that.
If I think, I'd like also to mention that if you look at the map of events, you can even try to find an event which is happening together with yours in your country, your language that you want to teach to your kids. So even possible to create a link between the CodeWeek events in order to leverage the international nature of the campaign.
Perfect. Thanks for adding that. That's very. And we have any questions? Yes, we got other questions. So, for instance, I think they organize with Go Animate. They create a short description of Italian parliamentary system, and it can be considered an event. Well, that's right. That can be considered an event.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Very easy to organize events. I'd like also to suggest to find in your school kids who had some coding experience and invite them to report and to experience that they had.
Yeah, and I've seen that there's quite a few other people that are contributing, saying that they have organized events in the past and that they will organize some events during this edition of the Code Week, which is very reassuring. Very good to hear. I think I'm not sure we have in the forum, in the learning event, a section dedicated to potential projects organized during the Code Week, but I think it's a good idea to add it now then for the next days, since we got this nice introduction from Alessandro. And in that specific thread, we can also share and see to match some of these events if we want to cooperate it internationally, which is of the aim of eTwinning, and I think it could add additional value to this campaign. Do you have any additional questions from checking also with my colleagues here if they noticed something else? Another question that came through that I think it was answered directly is if laptop or computers in your schools, you organize events as well. And the answer is again, of course you can, because there are plenty of unplugged resources that don't require any technology at all to be organized and realized. So and they are very fun and very interesting and very very engaging for students, and we will share some examples of those as well. Indeed, as you're writing in the chat, coding also with paper, absolutely. Yep. All right. Well, at this point, I would like just to wrap up maybe, and then wait, we got another question. That's for Alessandro. So do we need to wait until an event is moderated and accepted into the map?
In the sense that moderation, so you are allowed to organize whatever event you want. Then there are ambassadors who are in charge for approving events, just to make sure that the description of the event is complete. If it is not, they will return it to you and ask you to complete it. But that you don't have to wait for approval in order to organize your event. This is just to add it to the map. So free to organize whatever event, possibly add it to the map. If you forgot, for instance, to add an event to the map, but you need the event, please add it in later, because it is worth being made, and you are being rewarded for the event that you organized.
Yes, that's a good answer. Perfect. Let's keep us adding all the events and practicalities and formalities. The important thing is really to people and do the activities and make this happen. All right, time's up now. And thank you very much for joining us, and thank you especially to Alessandro for his great presentation and a great participation. I think we have a very exciting time before it's really about then trying to engage more and more schools in the campaign. I want also to take the chance to congratulate to all the learning event participants, because they've been very kind, very active, and they're participating a lot, very actively to the forums and to all the activities we're proposing. So thank you very much for keeping up this good work with us. And thanks again to Alessandro for his participation today.
Thank all of you. It was a really great pleasure. So let's meet at Code Week and join coding.
Thank you very much to all then. Have a nice evening.
You too.
Bye.